My shirt really clashes with the cover of this book. We're getting very colorful today. I know that sounds like a really weird thing, but like, tell me you don't. Like, do you look at how you match your covers? I don't know. Anyways, hey guys, welcome back. It is time to start Chain of Iron, which is the second book in the Last Hours trilogy. If you're new here, this is the next installment in this long-running series I have where I talk about and do reading vlogs on every single book in the Shadowhunters saga universe. In the description box below will be a playlist of all the videos in this series, so if you'd like to go catch up or see what other videos are in this series, you may do so. This is not something I added in the previous video for the Chain of Gold. I apologize. This is an in-depth vlog, so there is going to be 100% there's going to be spoilers. I'm not sure that I need to give explanation of who, what, where, when, why. Basically, this takes place in early 1900s London Institute. We follow Cordelia Carstairs, and then we also follow Luci and James Herondale, which are the children of Tess and Will Herondale from Infernal Device. Just to recap. So, I know that these vlogs get incredibly long. I don't want to waste any precious moments. I thought maybe we'd do a little bit of a recap of what happened the last time, but I think as we go, it's going to come back around because it was just a couple of weeks that I had finished the other one. So I kind of remember some of the ending questions that we are waiting for, and a lot of that has to do with Grace, that horrible, wretched, home-wrecking wench has her claws in James. James needs to get over it and go be with Cordelia because, like, obviously their end game. Cordelia now, oh, that's right. Holy shit. My cat's just knocked over a full glass of water. If ever there's a glass of water hanging around, they have to knock it over. And my kids leave them. I'm like, drink your water, pour it out. You don't need a full giant glass of water. Have a little cup, fill it up 4 times if you have to. But that way we don't have water cups sitting everywhere. I gotta go clean that up. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, recaps. James and Cordelia, because Cordelia just like outed herself falsely in order to protect James in front of everyone, and instead of her being seen as some hussy, she is going to have her reputation spared. James, to the rescue, is going to save her reputation and marry her, but it's going to be a fake marriage. So I've heard so many people talk about how much they love the fake dating trope. Like, fake marriage now? Fake marriage? Anybody? I'm not really into the whole fake dating trope, but like, this just like elevates that to like the 100th degree. So if that's your thing, you might really like this. Let's see, what else? Oh, Alistair. Is it Alistair? By the way, I've hurt my wrist, so yeah. Oh, there's so much good stuff. Okay, anyways, we will leave it off here and I will catch up when I get some reading under my belt. We'll see you very shortly. Good morning. It's Sunday, and yeah, we had a late morning, so I have a lot of chores and things to do this morning. All right, I want to get on here and do a Chain of Iron update. So first of all, there's a total of 656 pages in this book, and I am about a little over 100 pages. I'm into chapter 5. So far, we have just had wedding stuff going on for, what is it, James, Cordelia, and James. We've had Cordelia and James wedding stuff going on. Cordelia mentions that James has been kind of absent for a bit, which kind of irritates me. For the most part, I don't know what is it called? Bachelorette and bachelor parties. For the most part, I really hate the whole bachelorette party ideas. I feel like I guess I'm just no fun and I'm pretty cynical, but I just think it's kind of dumb. I didn't have one for my wedding, and I'm not saying that's like just because I didn't have one I don't care for them. I don't know, I just think it's kind of weird that like the night before you're supposed to get married, the idea is to like go have one night of freedom, as if when you're married you no longer have freedom anymore. And technically, if you think about it, it was for the men because the women had to stay chaste or whatever before they were married. So women weren't really supposed to go have like bachelorette parties. By the time women could have bachelorette parties, anyways, it's all kind of silly in my opinion, and I don't really care like to read about it. But the coolest thing about the wedding part is to know all the rituals for shadowhunter weddings. And I thought that that was very interesting, well thought out. And there are certain things that are very similar to like our wedding services, but then there's other things that are different, like the colors they wear. I guess Cordelia decided to wear gold and strap her and tote her weapon with her katana with her. Gold is supposed to be the color of the angels, so I just think that's really cool, and it kind of falls in line with like why women wear white, because it's like the color of like innocence or whatever. So I think that Cassandra Clare did a really interesting job, like really flushing out the differences of ceremony in a wedding. So we've just tied up the wedding scene. They're gonna go to their shared residence at this point. So I'm really eager to see how their living arrangements are going to work. I am actually enlisting the help of an audiobook because I have a lot of things to do. Being Sunday, it's like our big family it's like, to me, Sundays are like reset days. Like I update my calendar, I plan ahead for the next week, I make sure the house is clean from the weekend of the kids being home, it's laundry day, and then the biggest task I have that helps me all week long is pre-making all the lunches. And I have been just making lunches for the kids for the entire week, but I think I'm actually going to make my lunches for myself as well. Next week is the week before tournament, so I am kind of trying something where I'm going to be spending a lot more extra time at the gym in the mornings. And then when I come home, I usually have lunch, and it takes me a long time to like prep and clean when I get home from the gym. So I figure if I already have a lunch made, that will kind of reduce some of that time. So I'll get a little bit more time to like, I don't know, do whatever it is. I think next week I'm really going to be trying to take my self-care as a priority, like decluttering and organizing and stuff, because I feel like that is really beneficial to just not feeling so overwhelmed by everything sometimes, and just getting rid of things. So I would like to focus on some of those activities. So a lot of times too, I get home from the gym and I'm like so exhausted, and then I have to find the energy to go to Taekwondo class at 7 p.m. and like 5 o'clock hits and I'm like, I'm ready for bed. I do not want to go to class tonight, but it's really important that we get the practice in. So if I need to take a nap during the day, I need to allow myself that time that I never usually allow myself to do. So I'm just gonna try that for the weekend, see if it helps me. Anyways, I will update when I have more to talk about. All right, I hope this works because this has a microphone in it. Okay, so their first night at their new house. I feel so sad for Cordelia. I mean, I don't know if I like the idea of... So what happened? First of all, what happened was they got to the house. She got a little tour. Apparently, James had been MIA because he was working really hard on making the house all nice for her. So it's all really sweet and romantic and everything. And then they sit down to have a game of chess. And she tells this really cool story about the Persians and chess, and how they like invented the game. So they have a deal to kind of bond or learn things about each other by playing a game, and then the winner gets to ask a question of the other person, and the loser gets to pick the next game for the next night. And I think that's like such a cool idea. But then he takes her upstairs and she's like curious of like, one second, curious if they're gonna actually have a shared room or separate rooms. I think she had it in her head that they were gonna share a room, and then she was just like, she didn't know she's gonna be sleeping next to him or whatever. But then he tells her like, you know, she should have a place where she doesn't have to pretend to be with him. And they do have like a shared bathroom and a shared door that goes between their rooms. And I guess it's still pretty standard for a lot of married couples, but like her parents have a shared room. But she seems so disappointed. I feel so sad for her. In the mayo on the... Oops, hold on. All right, working on sandwiches. So that was an interesting scene. Cordelia realized that she needed help taking her dress off. And she couldn't ask the maid because then the maid would know that like they're not spending time together. Cordelia thinks that James is embarrassed And I think that he is like, I don't know, I feel like we're starting with some sexual tension going on here between our characters. Because obviously James is attracted to her. So Cordelia was thinking that James was just really embarrassed by having to do this for her. And I think he was just, he's feeling a certain way, you know what I mean? Unfortunately though, I think that he's hurting because he knows that Cordelia deserves a wedding night, like a real wedding night, you know, to be able to spend with her husband and all those things. They also have to, apparently they have to be naked in order to give each other the intimate runes. So James brought that part up and they're like, eventually we have to, because somebody is going to notice. Like her maid Risa is gonna be like, she's like a lady's maid, so she like helps her get dressed and everything. So she's going to notice at some point or another. they're gonna have to do that. I think we're gonna have like a lot of intense scenes like that where they're sharing space. I don't know, that really gave me that like visceral twinge in my chest reading through that scene. Like I feel heartbroken and everything at the same time, and I just want to throttle James. Like, is he an idiot? Is he a fucking idiot? Yeah, he is. Like, he and Cordelia are perfect together. They get each other, they have fun together, and I just don't see that he has the same interests with Grace. Grace is boring. She's just like, her ultimate goal is just like, poor me, you know, do all these things for me. And it's all about control. Like, yeah, James actually plays games and jokes with Cordelia, and they are shadow hunters together. Like, it'd be stupid. Oh, but one other thing, at the very end of all that scene, like they close the door and everything, it cuts out of the scene, right? And then we have this other scene. I had to go back and rewind it because I didn't know what I was reading. Apparently there was someone standing outside of their house watching them. Who the heck is out there watching them? I think we have our first antagonist. I forgot what he was babbling on about because I'm still just like, it was such a tiny little thing. I wonder if I should reread it. I just want to keep moving forward, but he was babbling about something. I think it's probably a bad guy, but it could also be Will. Matthew. Because I think Will has some feelings for Cordelia too, and is none too happy about this whole arrangement, but what can he do? So anyways, that'll be interesting to see. Aaron only gets half a sandwich because he won't eat a whole sandwich. I called it. Luci is in love with a ghost. Of course. Of course. So that's giving her the motivation to team up with Grace and try to bring him back to life. Interesting. Now if only we can get Cordelia to confess to James how much she truly loves him. We need that. Okay, our bad guy for this book, somebody is killing shadow hunters and they don't think that it is a demon. And they're kind of like talking about that right now. Also, James got sucked into the underworld and he is concerned because that would mean that he is sensing when the demon whatever his name is, that he is somewhere near, which they are saying this is impossible. He has confided this onto Cordelia, so. Oh my God, we got so close. So they're sitting there. James wants Cordelia to read Luci's story to him. So they get to a part in the story where like kissing and stuff happens. Anyways, it evolves into a conversation and James asks Cordelia if she's ever been in love. And she's like, yes, for somebody. And he says, who? And she's like, well, you'll have to play me chess for it. We were so close, so close. All of a sudden, he has this headache. And it says that he grips his head like he's had an intense pain or something. And then he has a confused look on his face like he forgot something. And I almost wonder if that isn't like that hold that Grace has on him. That like, if his mind starts to wander or he starts thinking of someone else or forgetting, Anyways, I'm eager to find out what's up. Okay, that's really weird. So we have this serial killer, and they're thinking that he's human, and we get into the serial killer's head, and he's stalking Luci, and he's surprised when Luci decides to fight back. So I'm wondering. So at first I was like, is this supposed to be like a Jack the Ripper, incident? But it's too late for Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper supposedly quit around 1891. I think that's what it was. I think that's what I read. 1891. So we should be in the early 1900s. So, yeah, it's too late for that. But I do find it kind of interesting that this supposed serial killer who has killed shadowhunters, A, can see the shadowhunters, and B, is surprised that his target is fighting back. Also, I almost kind of wonder if this serial killer isn't the greater demon, and he's found some way to be able to possess a human form. So, but even still, then it would make sense that he knows that he's targeting shadowhunters who will fight back. So I'm very confused by this. Something that just happened is a shadowhunter, Philomena, is dead. She was the stalker. The stalker who I thought was stalking Luci was not stalking Luci, was stalking Philomena, and he ended up killing her. Luci summoned her ghost and was able to speak with her and get some information. But the part that I'm at right now is we're learning about what Grace's superpower is. So Tatiana takes her into the woods one night to talk with this mysterious man, and he says that he's going to give her a gift that Tatiana wants for her, and that is the power over men. So now we know why she has this power. Okay, I have to keep listening. All right, he is giving her the gift to cloud their memory, influence them, make them feel however she wants them to feel. Okay, so now that I heard all about Grace and how she got this power and how Tatiana took her to Paris to practice, anyone will do anything for her. Now going back to the last conversation that she had, not the last conversation, but the last couple of conversations that she had with James, I do have to wonder what the difference is. How did he have the power to turn her down and say no, he couldn't run away with her? And I almost wonder if it's going to come out because his heart truly belongs to Cordelia. Maybe there's something there that he can't completely be pulled in by her because he loves Cordelia so much. Or maybe it has something to do with the love he shares with his parabatai, because parabatai bond is so strong so I wonder if that isn't kind of his saving grace too. Saving grace. It'll be really interesting to see how he was able to resist her. I'm trying to get the energy to get up and do my laundry now. I'm like so tired. And I'm also scrolling through all the comic books on Hoopla because I'm trying to figure out which series that I want to commit to. But anyways, I kind of already picked one. I already downloaded a big one, but I'm really just procrastinating because I'm tired while I'm listening. Anyways, so we just had a James and Matthew moment. So Matthew moved. He got himself a nice new house, and he hasn't told James where he's living. And James he didn't really tell anyone. Everyone was just kind of like, what? Why didn't you let us help you? And so James is now finding out this, and he's just like, well, I don't feel right about not knowing where you live and everything. And he's just like, well, I didn't want to bother you. I figured you wanted to spend time with Cordelia. And he kind of has these jabs at it, and he's like, maybe it'll turn into a real, relationship kind of thing. And the writing obviously kind of highlights some of his physical behaviors that go with that. So as a reader, we can interpret that this makes him really uncomfortable, and he is really I think that he's finding it difficult to be supportive, to be around James, to be put in positions where he's going to have to talk about him being with Cordelia and their relationship, because I think it is so obvious at this point that Matthew is in love with Cordelia. And do you know, this was a while ago, a couple hours ago actually, when I was downstairs earlier today, and I just had a thought. Clary Fairchild has red hair, how did they get the red hair gene? Cordelia has red hair. Did Cordelia end up marrying into the Fairchild's line and pass that down to Clary? So we'll see. Okay, so James and Cordelia are talking about the time that James was sick and Cordelia was reading to him. And I do remember, like, between then and now, there was a time where he did remember that. I'm pretty sure he remembered that. But now he's starting to say that he does not remember that. He kind of vaguely remembers, and he's trying to go back and think about it. And he's explaining the memory, like there's like a silk screen kind of blocking that memory for him. Grace is the culprit. I know it. I feel like she has gone and said something to him, like he needs to forget certain things. This has Grace written all over it. Right. Thank God he is actually coming to terms that he feels something for her, but I also think he's being very self-reflective on it, that he doesn't also want to take advantage of her, and he's trying to sort out his feelings, which he feels are confusing because he in his head, for whatever reason, he knows that he loves Grace. That's what his brain tells him. But then his body is telling him that he craves Cordelia, and he doesn't want to give in to those because he feels like there's a difference between love and lust. So thank you, James. Like, sort out your shit before you give in, for sure. But can we hurry this along, please? I love that we're actually getting somewhere in that. Like, he's definitely suffering through this conflict, and he's starting to feel confused and not really trust those feelings. I'm liking where this is going. Elias just died, which is Cordelia and Alistair's father. He was attacked by the thing that James has been having dreams about. But now James is like, it's becoming clearer to James, I guess, that like something really, really funky is going on with that. And we've had a few references to Robert Louis Stevenson's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde references. So I'm wondering if James has got like this Dr. Jekyll thing. Cordelia is concerned that Cortana is rejecting her now because she has been lying to herself and everybody about her marriage. Also, Elias had come to Cordelia's house to talk to James and request $5,000. Sorry, 5,000 pounds. And that time it's still a freaking ton of money. And James got really upset and was like, no. And I think it was really reasonable what he said. And, yeah, let's see what else. Oh, but back to Grace. So Tatiana is one sick ass woman. She told Grace to go over there and see James because she is morbidly curious about how his marriage is going. So she goes over there. It's just so weird that she cares so much. Ugh, she really hates the Herondales. She's just being so backhanded about it. It's really tacky and very unbecoming. But anyways, so she tells Grace to go over there and do her magic on James again and everything, and it actually really bothers. On their wedding night, Cordelia had set some sort of boundary about when he wants to see Grace because she doesn't want it to look like he's been stepping out on her. James was just like, I'm not going to see her. Obviously we're going to run into each other in social settings, but it's not going to be like that, you know, it's not going to be intimate or personal. And I was just like, okay, good for you, James. When Grace comes over to see James, she's like demanding that, she's asking him to spend time with her, and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I have to go do this thing with my sister. And now that we know what we know about Grace, he should be able to, oh yes, of course, I'll hang out with you, and come up with some excuse, but he doesn't. He turns her down. So interesting. Also, I wonder, you know what I wonder? I wonder if he has a resistance against her because of his downworlder blood, because she tried her mojo on Magnus Bane. It did not work, but he knew what she was up to, and he called her on it. I was like, nice. Speaking of Magnus Bane, I feel like he is going to go spill the beans on why they're inquiring about like necromancy kind of stuff. But anyways, right, I'm about 54% of the way through. I am finished with all the little things that I was trying to do, all the little cleaning tasks and all that good stuff. So I'm going to sit and knit this scarf that I've been working on while I listen. But since the last update, well, actually it was before last, whatever, at some point, I just forgot to mention it. So Cordelia had to go get her sword repaired. So there's this like really cool story how you summon the blacksmith, Waylon the blacksmith. I don't know, it's just like a really cool story of like Cortana's brothers and Excalibur, the weapon, all that good stuff. Anyway, so Waylon the blacksmith does some magic mojo and fixes the sword. Also, she has decided to become a paladin. Okay, I don't know. But now James, I really kind of like the honesty here, because I feel like in some of the other books, some of our other characters would like be too afraid to fess up to something, especially like, so what I'm referencing is James thinks that he perhaps maybe has been responsible for Ellis's death, and instead of like shying away from that truth, he actually calls all of their friends and tells Cordelia what he thinks, and I just really appreciate that honesty. So everyone's gonna just make sure that he doesn't escape in the middle of the night, or that nobody comes in the middle of the night. And then Cordelia is going to be in a locked room with James for the night, and everyone else is like downstairs. So I'm hoping we get some juicy conversations over the night. Also Cordelia and Will had spent the afternoon together. Will went with her to find Waylon and everything. So they had a really interesting conversation about people caring about other people. Will knows that Will's in on it, that Cordelia is in love with James, and James does not return that love. So that was kind of an interesting part of the conversation. Cordelia was actually really shocked that Will saw that or knew that. So oh my god. Oh, Cordelia. Okay, I couldn't do that. I just want to slap James for being such an idiot, but I also love him because he's so honest. Like, how can you not like just love someone that's, you know, noble and honest? So, and we know that it's not his fault, you know? It's that horrible Grace. But he confesses that to Cordelia that she came over, he did not invite her, she came over and he kissed her. And he was very upset about it. He wanted her to know that his bracelet is like partially cracked because he punched the bookshelves, because he feels really guilty that he broke their promise or their agreement. And so Cordelia like keeps her composure and everything. She goes, okay, fine, since you broke our agreement, then I want something in exchange. And she's like, one day I am gonna marry someone, and I want to know, that person is gonna know that I was married to you, and like I should know how to kiss or do things. And so I don't know, like I don't think I could do that, especially since we all know how much she really loves James. And I know she's already like swallowed that realization that he does not feel that way for her, but how could you do that? Like, he just said he kissed another girl, and you want to be like, okay, kiss me and teach me how it's done. Okay, I don't even know. So he's all right. He's tied to the bed, not in some bondage way, but he's tied to the bed because they don't want him getting us. They want to like make sure he's not getting up or possessed or anything. So it's so abrupt the way it comes out, and he's like, get on top of me. And he's like, well, I'm tied to the bed. Like I can't get up and kiss you. So guys, okay. The cool thing though is that when he did kiss Grace, he was like, there's something different about this. And Grace is like, you're not the person kissing me or whatever. Like the kiss was off. It felt weird. I do think it might catch up to Cordelia a little bit too, that maybe she does care about James, and at some point it might catch up to her that she's been toying with him so much, and that she's never really known what it's like to be cared for real. And you know, like I think that does take a toll when someone's kissing you because you told them to and not because they really want to, and then you don't know if they truly like you. And I don't know, I wonder if that's gonna ever come up or anything like that. But anyways, I gotta continue. It's about to get saucy. I wonder how much anyone else has thought about this. So like the entire Shadowhunters Chronicles, with every generation, it's like the highest up enclave person, representative, is always like out to just almost be corrupt, if that makes sense. Like, there is no excuse for this guy. I don't even know his name. It starts with the B, I think. I don't remember. No, it's not Charlotte. It's the other guy who I guess is actually over Charlotte, or maybe they're equal. Either way, he's just like, I want to blame you. I want to blame you. And you know, just like this really sneering, nasty, kind of angry individual. And it really just makes no freaking sense. They don't give any reason why these people are just assholes. So it just seems like it comes out of left field that they just like want to so easily pin something on somebody without giving them the opportunity to state their case or give them any sort of benefit of the doubt. They don't even want to give them the opportunity to defend themselves. And it's like, how is it that happens like every single book? So I don't really like that. I think it really is just a plot device to have a diversiveness, but I don't think that there's anything behind it that actually makes sense. And it's overdone in the scope of the entire, all these books. So just my 2 cents on that. Okay, so there was another death and they found a box, and Grace, I love you too. I don't want your butt in my face. I know. Why do you have to pick right now to be so loving and adoring? Oh, here comes the other cat. Seriously. What are you doing? I gotta go flip the burgers. Come on, go. Oh my God, where was I? Okay, so yeah, that's right. So they have discovered, I forget, it's a long story. But anyways, they figured out that this box takes runes. So they're trying to figure out what is happening to the runes. But I think I know what's happening. Okay, so the Shadowhunters that they are finding dead have missing runes. One of the runes is strength. The other runes that was missing was the voyance rune. Do you know what I think is what is happening? I think that Tatiana is behind this, and I think that she is collecting runes so that when she brings her son back, somehow she's going to be able to put these runes on her son so that he can have the sight, have strength, and I'm just trying to remember they haven't figured it out. The other rune that maybe they took from somebody else. Wait, there was a rune that they took off of Elias. Was that his voyance rune? I can't remember, but we'll figure it out eventually. I was just trying to go back and remember, see what kind of runes we have collected thus far. So, but I think that's what's going on. Let's see if I'm right. All right, Belial has taken over Lilith's realm. James is there, and it just occurred to me. So Belial is still injured. He has the evidence or whatever that he is still not healed. And James is like, it takes 3. So there's some sort of thing where it says it takes 3. But I don't think that means 3 wounds. I think that means Cortana's brothers also have to pierce the demon. So all 3 of them could do away with this demon. I bet that's what it is. Because then why would they bring it up? Also, if that's the case, then that means we need to figure out who wields the other 2 weapons. What are they? That'll be really interesting. Oh my goodness, what has happened? Sorry about the light. What the heck happened to James? So the bracelet, so he gets back from hell or whatever, and I don't know, it's something's definitely different, and he starts making out with Cordelia, and then the bracelet breaks, and it already had a crack in it. So I wonder when it got cracked. Anyways, yeah, so the bracelet breaks, and then all of a sudden he collapses and his eyes are black. So is there punishment for breaking this loyalty bond? No. Oh my goodness. Either way, maybe she will find out. Maybe we'll find out more about this bracelet. Haha, I was right. So The runes are being put on Jesse's body. What do you know? Oh shit. I did not expect that she was going to try to kill him. Why would she try to kill him? I guess we'll have to find out. Oh, wow. Wow. I don't even know where to start to explain what's happening. I guess I don't need to explain what's happening, but I was not expecting those twists. Like, I thought it was Tatiana who was putting the runes on. Oh, wait. What am I saying? Tatiana's not even there. Wow. Okay. Just kidding. So, yeah, I was really thrown about what was happening. With what's his face? The dead kid, Jesse. With Jesse, I was completely shocked to realize Belial has been possessing Jesse for quite some time. He's been collecting runes, but it's temporary and he's still after James. And here comes Lilith and Leviathans wreaking havoc. Like, it's crazy. Like the bombs keep coming. It's really weird. Okay, I definitely have to like stop for the night, but wow. Again, wow. Lilith's like games to get not Cordelia. Yeah. Lilith's games to get Cordelia to end up swearing a fealty to her. That is some crazy. That is some wicked clever planning. My goodness. Also, this is a lot longer now. Yeah. I showed my husband what I was working on. He's like, isn't that kind of thin for a scarf? Yes. The reason is because I don't really know what else to use this kind of yarn on. And I saw this picture. So that's kind of what I was going for. Okay, I definitely have to go to bed though. Otherwise, tomorrow I'm going to be rubbish. Okay, where are we? I'm like so tired today. It's towards the end of the day and I had a really long, hard workout. And in about an hour we got to leave to go to Taekwondo. So I'm trying to muster up more energy. And like my face is breaking out. I don't know why. It's so annoying. Self-conscious about that right now. So if we have some awkward cover-ups, that's why. Where are we at? Okay, so Cordelia, my good side. Cordelia had a big oopsie and accidentally agreed to be Lilith's paladin because Lilith was like shape-shifting to look like all these different people and like orchestrated this whole thing. That was crazy. So now anytime she pulls out her weapon, Lilith can tell her how to wield it. Oh, I can't believe that. So now she's like, oh my god, I'm in so much trouble until I figure out how to get out of this. I can't even be Lucy's parabatai, like anything. Okay, so now James and Cordelia, I just started the scene. So I'm in the scene where James is like seeing Cordelia and realizing like having this inner monologue with himself about how amazing Cordelia is and how much he loves her. And there was something came up and inside he was thinking that like he loves her or whatever, but like of course he doesn't say it out loud. So I'm really liking this. Now Grace is also seeing her mother in a different light and seeing how much her mother does not care for her and just manipulates her, and how much like Tatiana actually says something like, we're just partners. And so I think Grace is really going to start rebelling against Tatiana. So there's that. I think that's all I have to say for now. Don't you just love a well-timed interruption? Cordelia pulls the plug on James giving her a kiss because she's like, hey, we can't pretend like this is real. And James is like confessing to her and she says, tell me that you haven't felt the same about Grace and me. And he's like, no, I've never felt the same. And she's like it came out so harsh to her because she was thinking that like he loved Grace, not her. And he's thinking that what he feels for Cordelia is a lot more than he ever felt for Grace, in favor of Cordelia. You know what I mean? But she took it the other way. And so then, of course, before he can explain himself, there's a knock at the door. So he's like, okay, I get I have to answer this, but like, we have got to talk. This is so important. Which means he's going to confess and tell her, like, that he cares for her and all this stuff, obviously. So I have a feeling she's going to go up to her room and wait for James, and something's going to happen, and they're not going to talk for a really long time. I wonder if Lilith isn't going to, like, take her or something. I don't know. I know something bad's about to happen between them. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. Grace is at the door, and she's run to James to cry to him that Tatiana's a bitch. Oh, hell no. Oh, no. So she's what's gonna come in between them. Is she gonna do her magic mojo on James again? I don't know. Wow. Okay. This was worth it. The conversation, James is letting loose on Grace. This is amazing. This is so amazing. What he said, I didn't even see it that way, but he said that ever since she put the bracelet on him since he was 14, he considers that her will on him, the way he thinks, how he thinks, his feelings, like everything has been under her control since he was 14. And he is like I didn't even see it that way. I just saw it in a very shallow way of, how it's been kind of a way to be a homewrecker. But wow, nice. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Grace found, this is awful. I hate this. Sorry. There you go. Now I feel better. Cordelia overhears Grace and James up until the point where right before James starts to lay into her and tell her that he is upset and all that stuff, Cordelia only heard, a clip of it, and she is very upset, runs off. She doesn't know where to go because nobody really knows her secret and the depth of it either. I think Luci is in on it, but Matthew, to her knowledge, Matthew is the only one that actually knows how much Cordelia truly loves him. She has nowhere to go, so she runs to Matthew's apartment, and he hears her out, and he tells her the reason he cannot stay in London is because it hurts him too much to watch all this unfold, because he loves Cordelia, and he was hoping that Cordelia would see that. So we're about to get all those different scenes and stuff from Matthew's perspective, like when he walked in on them in the whispering room and stuff. Aw, I don't know, I'm feeling so much sympathy for Matthew. But, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, because Cordelia is this is all her fault that she's this distraught, but at the same time she can't go back to the house because it's just too painful. So Matthew is like, you can stay here, and she's like, well, that would be kind of crazy. She's like, with you sleeping on the couch? And he's like, no, I'm going to be going to Paris. So, yeah. I think James is going to find his way to Will, so we'll see. Okay, I can't say that James didn't have it coming, but Cordelia has decided to run to Paris with Matthew. Oh my God. They're going to fall in love, aren't they? They really, truly are. But James is always going to be number one in her heart, so we're creating a love triangle. Okay, I have finished Chain of Iron. What an ending. James did find that Cordelia had went to Paris with Will. I keep saying Will. Holy shit. Also, my throat is hurting so bad. James found out that Cordelia went to Matthew's house. When he arrived there, they had left, and he got the message from Matthew. Matthew was breaking it down for him in the letter. So James went tearing after them on the train, and just as he arrived at the train, it's very theatrical. And I was thinking about this the whole time I was listening to this. She quotes Dickens a lot, and Dickens was also very theatrical writer, and I feel like that really inspired her stories, which is awesome. So he arrives at the train station, he catches Matthew helping Cordelia onto the train, and before he can run to catch up with him, his father finds him and is like, Luci is missing, I need you. I guess they have to leave town. So then they meet up with Magnus, and so Magnus, Will, and James are going on the hunt to find Luci. So, and of course, Magnus can see a wounded puppy for a mile away, and so, yeah. I get it. I'm so mad at James, but James, and Grace are the only ones that know that he truly loves Cordelia and that it was all Grace's fault. Everyone else is under this false illusion that James is in love with Grace. It's just such a miscommunication, but it's not stupid miscommunication. It's all very well plotted out, thought out, and things like that. So, ugh, my heart is breaking for all of them right now. Because just as James like comes around and is not under her spell anymore, Cordelia gets the wrong impression and runs away. And now she's gonna fall in love with Will. I mean, she's gonna fall in love with Matthew, and it's gonna be the Tessa, Jem, and Will situation all over again. Obviously, that's where we're going. Anyways, I literally cannot talk anymore. My throat is screaming at me, and I don't know if it's, and I also have like a chest thing, and I don't know if it's allergies or I'm actually getting sick. Either way, it's super annoying. So, and what's really frustrating is I don't know what to do, if I should like stay home and like take care of myself for the week. Because Saturday we have tournament, and like I want so badly to just be healthy and be able to compete at my fullest. And like all this week is like going to the gym and like supplementing my classes with going to the gym and working on everything to just be like as prepared as I can be for Saturday. So if I'm getting sick, I'm so upset. I'm so mad. Ugh. Alright, I will end this video here, and we'll see you soon for Chain of Thorns. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.